Welcome to a very vulnerable moment of
Are
our.
you recording now?
I'm recording now because Gina, what did we just do? What'd you just call it? Are you upset?
No, not upset at all.
I'm a little upset
I
at
felt
myself.
like I really felt like that was what that really defined us. Okay,
You know
it's
what?
okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's
It
okay.
didn't define me.
Well, no, it
We
defined
just
our
had a great
show. What
conversation, guys,
a great
that we were going to
conversation.
share with y'all.
It
And
was
guess who forgot to
awesome.
hit the record button? Are you willing to believe that like there's actually some reason that just happened?
The, I
It's
hate
kind
when
of
you do this
upsetting
to
to
me.
me because I felt like we just had some amazing things we discussed:
We
vulnerability,
did.
Justin Bieber, and
My whole
vulnerability.
Justin Bieber story.
It's not gone anywhere. Um, but so this is us. I guess being
Crazy talk.
challenged to be more vulnerable. Crazy talk. It's so crazy that I forgot to record it. Um,
That's so crazy.
and I think we were proud of and I think why were why why were we proud to have that documented? Let me
I
ask you that.
know. Well, because I
No,
think
but
it
I
because
think for good reason. I think it's important. Why?
what? I think it's because in that moment was more us than what yesterday. Yesterday we were too nervous. My chest was coming out of my shirt. I was starting to sweat. I was like real nervous, and I was having an FFT moment. And
We are
now,
recording now. I'm looking at the red
now,
button and everything.
are we recording now?
Yeah, we are still banned in 4 countries. That's
We
not going to change.
well
Excessive evil.
tell our audience
Yeah,
what's
no,
going
I
on.
mean they can't handle our crazy talk love in what is it, North Korea, Iran, Syria, oh, and probably some other Cuba. Sorry, Vince. It's a good thing you came to America and joined the Cauble law firm because you couldn't get our love if you were down in Cuba now on YouTube. Hey, Jen, I'll tell you what upsets me the most
What?
about it was I'm not even upset, but I'm happy that I get to like lead off with it. I guess I was a little sad that we closed with it, but you learned something from our first show doing it, being nervous. I think you said earlier that you got home and before you could even tutor your next student, you had a vulnerability. It's what I like to call. You said something, and I don't want to take your word, but I know that I texted somebody. I was sitting alone in the office after we recorded a few shows, even one after you left, including the band content one. And I texted somebody. I was like, I think I have a vulnerability hangover. And I just vulnerability, Charlie. And sometimes if you're, I feel it before sometimes, and especially I think people feel it sometimes when they spend a little too much time talking to me. But the next day they'll be like worn out and stuff. And I think when you share your heart and your emotions with someone in a brave and courageous way, because what is vulnerability anyways? We can talk about it all day. I can get all the syllables right, vulnerability, but what is it, Gina?
Well, first of all, before I answer that, I want to write down vulnerability. Now I can't say it. What did you just do to us? Vulnerability,
It's a mouthful.
vulnerability hangover, vulnerability hangover. That's what I had. I had to take a nap, and it took a
Yeah,
lot out of you too.
and I did. I went to bed early. Like I wanted to,
Yeah.
like decompress and just play my 1981, take my Super Bowl, self love Valentine's Day, and then I was like, well, no, I'm tired. I need to go to bed and read. I need to give myself some self love, and I couldn't even pick up the book. I just fell asleep, and then like I woke up way later than I thought I would too, and I was still tired. Yeah.
Carly, guess what?
What?
I was able to reserve a seat for my church's Ash Wednesday, this Wednesday, and I am going to church with a mask on, of course. But I was able, they had a limited availability. I think I got the last 2 spots, and I'm going to church. And I'm so excited because I miss my church family. And then I'm going to go to church again
It's good to
Sunday.
have people in your life that you miss, It's
Yes,
a
yes, yes,
blessing to
yes.
have people to miss. I thought about all the people I miss, but like I'm proud that I have a life that there's people in it that I miss. Like that's a
Mhm.
blessing. That's not loneliness.
No, no,
Feel
no, no.
lonely sometimes, but with those friendships and that love, it can be reignited. Like like as soon as you get that seat in that Ash Wednesday when y'all do those little rituals and stuff
Yeah.
that are done for good reasons. Um, I think one is a couple of things that I wanted to get out there is I think in our first episode, I just I guess it was a little more ambiguous. And we talked a lot about church, and I think and we did it on Sunday. And somebody said something about me preaching, but I don't mind being called anything. But I also just want to be clear that I believe that God is good, God is love, and God is within us all. That's what I teach my kids. So no one has any questions. I've had a lot of great spiritual leaders, including John Lennon,
And
Jesus
Jane Tolbert.
Christ, Siddhartha Gautama, Lao Tzu. I could go on forever. Brene Brown, really, to come back. Russell Brand, Eddie Vedder.
Are you still listening to him?
Huh?
You still listen to Russell Brand? Are you still listening?
Russell Brand's like reaction video to the Zoom cat video. It's great.
I haven't seen that.
I'll send it to you later. It confirms everything that I felt about him. I was like, I wanted to judge him at first. He's not as smart as he sounds. It's just that British accent, or he's not as like,
really
real and like vulnerable. Like, I think he's a human being that if I had the opportunity to, invite him into my already like fulfilled social circle, I think I would allow him in, or I would make a sacrifice if I had to in order to pass time with him. I think he's genuinely good. He's a recovering long-term addict. Mm-hmm. He, uses comedy well. He's very intelligent and almost in a way that could intimidate me and make shy me away. But one of my favorite crazy talks, it's hard to even say this crazy talk ever, is the conversation between Russell Brand and Brene Brown.
What?
I've listened to so many times. I learned so much. It's on Russell Brand's podcast. It's Under the Skin. And it's just those two people talking, and the way they listen to each other, the way they're willing to, it should have been a research project. In a lot of ways, it's prepared me to do this and still like learn from it. But it gets me back to, you keep talking about vulnerability. But I want to know what you mean by that.
Well, okay.
What you mean by what you try to point to you.
Okay. So so vulnerability to me is when you're honest and authentic, and your fear of being judged for being your authentic self. That is what vulnerability is to me. I feel like, there's, I know I got a hate letter in the middle. I know that I can, I know that people think
there's certain things you need, you have to have,
but you don't think
in order to have vulnerability, right? You have to be afraid.
For a fear.
You have to be afraid of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's sharing something
new,
something about yourself. You have to give part of yourself.
Letting someone see that part of you.
And you have to give it to someone else, an audience, whether it's you have to put it out there. It can't stay in your head, right? I guess there may be another ingredient, but you have to be afraid to share something about yourself or how you feel. And it has to be to another person, I think.
Okay.
Is that right? I have no preconceived definition, but I think those are the three main components. No, I'm just reciting what you said. I think those are the three main ingredients.
Well, what I was going to say was that, so when I went home and I had my vulnerability hangover, I had to go take a nap. I fell asleep for 40 minutes.
And amen.
And when I woke up, because I never take naps, never. I'm not a nap girl.
So that is a high level. I'm very proud of you.
That was a high
leading by example. Good job. No, the nap. You doing that?
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a napper. Never been a napper.
Yes, you are.
But now I am. Well, just yesterday.
You are a napper when you need it. That's self-love, and the people need to know that.
Well,
you gave yourself something that you needed that you didn't even feel like you would be inconsistent with your identity. I'm not going to let you just run by that. That's something that I'm proud of.
Well, the reason why, what I got from our whole experience of a couple of things, my Justin Bieber story, which we'll talk about later.
Bieber.
The fact that you love Justin Bieber as much as I love Justin Bieber makes me know that you're ultimately probably one of my very BFFs in the world, because a lot of people would not appreciate him the way I do, and you and I do. He's it. He's vulnerability. And so I thought about,
and he's a beautiful artist, like that,
I know.
Once you remove judgment,
when I
You
tell
can,
someone that I'm going to his concert, or if I say something like, "Oh, his new album was so good," they're like, "Justin Bieber, man." Then I had to kind of tell them the story about the Tetons connection, my spring break, blah blah blah, and then that kind of they'll kind of listen to me, and then I'll go, "Well, check out his YouTube channel and watch him. And you'll learn about his anxiety and how he copes with anxiety and how it's really crippling." Blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
I'm glad
so
that you learned about it, and hopefully they
yeah,
will too. I know you want to share that with them, but I'm just so glad that you have that connection, and you've been able to connect with his art in that way. That's
right.
that's that's what I love.
I think also vulnerability is starting to understand people from where they are. Like, okay, so whenever I'm teaching math, I want it to be fun. I want to be fun. I don't want them to have to worry about learning a lot of rules. And a lot of kids can pick up math so fast and run. And then there's those group of children whose parents may say it, or they may say, "Math, I just can't do math. I mean, I just can't." I
Math
hear that all
takes
the time. I just
practice.
can't
I
do
mean,
math.
it's something that, like, especially the more
So
advanced you get,
yesterday, when I was
it's
having
something
my
that you're going to be bad at first, right? You don't automatically know what 2 + 2 is, or how to, or what a numerator or denominator is, or what a
right,
fraction. Get this off my plate. This don't even look right.
yeah, yeah, no. Well, see, and that's when yesterday it hit me. And this is what I'm taking away from the show. Okay. I'm
Something you've
taking
already learned
away,
about from yourself from just agreeing to do it.
well, I learned that feeling of I'm going to throw up right now. Charlie's got me in this podcast
You
and
were
I'm going to
vulnerable.
throw
You were
up.
courageous. Yeah.
I'm going to throw up right now. I'm going to go outside and just throw up. This is not me, and I'm scared to death, and I'm going to throw up. So now I know when kids are looking at me, and maybe it's long division, or maybe it's adding or subtracting mixed numbers or fractions, and they're like having one of these moments. I am going to be more comforting. I'm going to be more, which I hope I already am, but now I really am going to be much more sympathetic.
Vulnerable.
Um, because I see when they're looking at me with those eyes, like, I can't do this. Like, my brain just can't do this. Now I know that they're overcoming a fear, just like I'm trying to overcome this fear right now doing this podcast. And so that's going to make me tomorrow go into my classroom thinking, okay, I'm looking for vulnerable children who think they can't do math. And I'm going to reassure them, because I know how it feels to be unsure about something now. And what am I doing here? Why am I, imagine being a kid and the first time you lay eyes on long division. That's a frightening, that can be very frightening. And I think I've forgotten
It
how
makes
frightening
me
that
feel
is.
some anxiety right now. Just thinking about it. Like, I'll be nervous if you ask me to do, like, yeah. I just thought the quadratic equation just came to mind, and it's like the most intimidating set of numbers you can put on. What the hell, But
Yeah.
there's something so special about numbers, though, and there's so much less confusion when you master the numbers. It's so much easier to communicate with numbers than it is words. There's something
Right.
special about numbers. Uh,
Yes, there is.
there's more of a predictability. We can get information from one human being to the other through numbers easier than and more reliably than we can words, even if we're speaking the same language. You can't really miscommunicate.
Oh, like music. And that's
And,
why
and
music and math is really the same thing, Charles.
hey, it's all connected.
It's all connected in that
Everything. We're all
brain.
the same. The
Oh,
universe is in harmony. Like, at least we sure could get a lot more connected without judgment and fear and people being and it's leading and it's being vulnerable. Not people aren't always going to know or be able to see. Like, no one would have known that you were scared or I was scared or that we were vulnerable yesterday, because it's yours and you feel it. And it's kind of like shame. It's like, I'm so ashamed of this. If anyone ever finds out, I'll just die. If anyone knows this about me, I'll die. I'll just die if they know this about me. Shame. I think shame is the most probably the most powerful emotion in the world in terms of controlling human behavior. That's what I believe. I'm willing to be proven wrong. It doesn't really matter anyways.
mhm.
It's powerful. But when I've learned, and usually to like share shame with someone, or give someone your shame, or be confronted with or forced to, or being shamed. It, when you volunteer it, that to me is vulnerability, because you're terrified. It's, someone else is getting it. Oh my God, you're going to die. You're going to die right there. You're going to disintegrate. I mean, this gets
Yeah.
out. They know this about me. That's it. I might as well where
Yeah.
is the highest mountain I can jump up? Can someone draw a bath? I have got a heck blow dryer, just turn the oven on. If they found this out, woo! But what I have found out through vulnerability, sharing it, is that it almost has this other weird, like, I don't know if it's a letdown, but like people don't care. Your shame is your shame, and like you almost have to tell them sometimes. Like yesterday when the thing about Tinder came, I was like, okay, this gives me an opportunity to be vulnerable. But like, I have to signal it, because it's not vulnerability unless you're like a little nervous, at least a little nervous to do it, because it's, it changes over time. The more brave you get, what vulnerability becomes to you is going to be different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good. Oh, writing it down.
But what I'm saying is, like, the shame is so much more powerful to us and so much more limited to us. And when you share it, it's empowering. The people like don't like hardly give a shit. They just want to tell their story next, or like talk about, whatever. And you're like,
oh,
do
yeah.
you know what I just shared with you? That's my soul. Validate, and like, yeah. You want that, you deserve that. But sometimes you have to say, look, this is hard for me to talk about. I'm really ashamed of this. And they're gonna say, you shouldn't be. They're gonna look at you like this, like, what? And but you never see that. You never experience that until it happens. But I just routinely found people don't even recognize it. And I'm like, it really is such a unique thing. It's not universally like a language. Like, you're ashamed of that? Like, that's awesome. That's one of the coolest things about you. It's actually my favorite thing I've ever known about anyone. Yeah, I don't know, like that.
Yeah.
That has happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you got me going like that crazy talk right there, but
No,
I mean, I have to be really careful
that
when
got
you
me
talk about
thinking.
vulnerability and shame, because I get into it, but
It's got me thinking about.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
You don't have to think.
I'm just digesting.
Don't think too hard. Just let the thoughts
No,
come
I
and
know.
go.
I'm just
Watch
digesting.
them.
I'm digesting.
Digest. Your body needs to digest.
So I've not given up anything. I can't think of what I'm going to give up for Lent. So I was going to ask you, are you giving up anything for Lent?
Yeah, and I said,
I'm trying to come
that's what led me to talk about the religion thing earlier. I'm not, but I may like randomly give up something like that just to challenge myself. Like kind of like in a, I love being able to be open to the different experiences. Helps me to connect with people more if I understand more about their spiritual beliefs and just like cultures, religions, whatever. And I can take my favorite things and what I think are the best things about each of them, and kind of incorporate them. I've done that, whether it's the Tao Te Ching or but like Buddha was like a really wise, like Siddhartha Gautama was pretty wise dude. And there is something I put into practice. Like one time, this is it's amazing how similar all these like ancient spiritual religions are, like, and they come down to the same kind of like love and there's just a good wholesomeness of it. But desire was a big focus of Buddhism. It's like, desire really is kind of like what leads to suffering. It was like life is suffering is a big thing. I like the interpretation life is impermanent and ever changing, which is kind of like an interpretation of life is suffering. You're never going to be comfortable because life is impermanent and life is ever changing. Desire causes a lot of of the disappointment because we don't have it. Gratitude for what we do have kind of helps combat the I desire, if your stomach's hungry, you got to eat, this, that, but, if we go back to my Tinder example, a lot of people don't want Tinder because they have desires. They have desires they're trying to fill. That not me, obviously, because I got Cat Stevens, but I don't need anyone to know any reason why I was on there. I found something on there that was one of the best things I've ever found, like randomly, just a gift, like there's love and there's beauty everywhere, even Tinder. I couldn't, that overwhelmed me. And it wasn't
Carla,
like
you're gonna end up dead, Charlie. Get off that Tinder. I'm telling you, I listen to so
I'm not on Tinder, darling.
Okay, don't get on any of those matchmaking. I'm telling you, I have listened
I'm
to
not
all
on Tinder.
Okay, or anything, because if you meet someone online, I guess a man doesn't really worry about it. But I feel like I would meet someone, I would be dead.
Yeah, I would never be, I would never be a female on there. And
no,
it was, what was it? I talked to one person. I'll tell you my last experience with Tinder, since we're talking about it, and people may be interested in it. This is vulnerable, right?
Well, yes, but
this is giving me an opportunity for vulnerability. I should probably take it.
Do it with your hat on your head. Do it with your hat on your head. Tell me the next thing with your hat on your head. I want your hoodie.
I want to get a hat and like, and I'll pull my hoodie up. Yeah. Yeah, be a different character. My Tinder character. This is my Tinder character.
So good.
Yeah, this is good.
So good. This is gonna be so good, y'all.
I think I'm recording. Everything we do is good. And
listen to this rain. Is it raining where you are? It's raining good here. Okay, so hey, hey, y'all, just filling in some space time. He's coming right back. He's going to put a little thing on his head, and he's going to do his Tinder character. So, I mean, who knew? And we're about to see it. It's going to be something really good. And Charlie.
I'm good with my Tinder character hat.
All right, here he comes.
I had an idea of what hat I wanted for my Tinder character hat, but I had to just be open to like changing, and because I couldn't find it. So, all right, Tinder Charlie. All right, you ready for vulnerability?
Okay, so there he is. He puts that should be your Tinder profile. And I wonder, you would get a different.
You know what my Tinder profile picture was, though, honestly, because I didn't. It was when I went and I had downloaded because I went out to Ohana Fest by myself. You talk about go to Jackson Hole on a journey by yourself. I've gone out. I don't need anybody to believe this. This is the kind of stuff that only happens to me. These kind of blessings, I feel like, I hope they happen to everybody else because they're wonderful. But I was going out, and it was kind of like really a spiritual thing. I was traveling to a concert of like in a place with people that I love and music that I love in like San Clemente, California, the most beautiful place ever, by myself.
Are you about to tell us about time you touched Eddie Vedder?
No, that was not. I'm way past that. That was back before I was spiritually born, 2016.
Okay,
that did happen, and if you just Google "Alive Saved My Life" and click on the Greenville, you'll see me without any product in my hair, touching Eddie Vedder. But it's a Reddit video. But in any event, yeah, if you just like Alexa, Pearl Jam, "Alive Saved My Life," yeah, first video that comes up. It's like 50 seconds into
do
it.
that. I want to do that when I get.
Dustin's in it too, but if you do this too, I did this today too. I did Crazy Talk. She said, he said, and it came up on my own YouTube TV.
It did?
Yeah. I mean, we're big time. So Tinder Charlie, I downloaded it on the way out there just to see if there's anybody who wanted to just like, hang out at the concert, listen to music. It wasn't the desired thing, but it was like I could anticipate myself. I had a lot of good meals out there and had the best time, the best sunset. I wrote in my journal. I spoiled myself like in a wonderful way.
Self-love.
And I remember I was thinking like I would go to dinner and I'd write in my journal, just like try to be present. And I was having one meal with the sunset, like you kind of feel the breeze coming off the pier where the servers were. And I didn't have some shrimp, a delicious cocktail. There was a couple. I was realizing at that point that everyone must think I'm a food critic because I'm always sitting alone and writing in my journal. It was great. And I was just so beautiful, and it was so wonderful that I was getting up and leaving, and I'll never forget it. And I was closing my journal, was just listening to the din of everyone talking around me as I was walking out. And "You Can't Always Get What You Want" was playing in the background. Or maybe this was the last entry, but last thing I wrote when I was leaving. And it was in that moment that I realized that I have everything I need. And if I didn't have kids, I probably would never come home. But it was a good moment. But I downloaded Tinder on the way out there, and it's like I cropped out a picture of me in a tuxedo at a wedding I went to with somebody I was dating at the time, and it was like you could clearly see it was cropped out. And I think my profile still said like, "Hey, anybody going to Ohana?" Or I think it did say something about just another crooked heart out there. I'm a big crooked heart guy. Crooked heart, trying to like spread love in the world or whatever. And so I downloaded it one night during the pandemic. I was just bored, and I was trying to just not do some other things on my phone. And it was like I remember telling Sam about it some point because I felt guilty. But I downloaded it, and I hadn't been on there. I was probably the only person in the world that like sent 2 Tinder messages within like 2 years, and like so I wasn't sending messages. I was just like keeping data for like the fact that like women get overwhelmed, and it like offsets the whole like balance of the universe and how terrible it is. Just trying to collect some data. But I sent a message to somebody, and I think I sent a message to him. But in any event, it was like 3:00 in the morning. I might have actually super liked him. I don't remember. I didn't think much about it.
Super liked. That's
I mean, I don't know. This was like I downloaded at 3 in the morning. Hadn't been on it in like months. I still have my Ohana Fest. I didn't meet up with anybody in Ohana Fest, by the way. Profile on there, like Crooked Heart. You want to meet up, go to the show? Like, here's a picture of me in a tuxedo with somebody that I went to a wedding with, huh?
would you have a ticket for them if they had said something? Would you have had one for them to go to the show?
I don't know. I was just like, it was just like someone doing an airplane when I was like,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
would
I would,
give me
I was
$5
trying to
if you
meet up
take
with
a
other Pearl
picture.
Jam fans to hang out with.
I want you to take a picture. I just for
I want to
research.
finish my Tinder story. Yeah.
But I want you to take a picture of you right there and put that on Tinder and see what kind of.
I'm not going to do that.
And then where it says
I'm not going to do
say,
that.
where it says job, say something like sales.
We're going to get back to the Buddhist principle in a second.
Okay,
but anyways,
okay.
So I sent the message, and then 10 o'clock next morning, like this little shorty, like, appears to have like cool stuff that on there and says some things, got my attention. I'm like, man, I'm actually gonna have to I actually felt myself getting nervous, like actually caring about how I responded. And it was like, wow, this is weird. I mean, I got to be myself, blase, blase. And, that was back in May of last year, and I'm still in love with the person. So.
Cool. That's a sweat. Oh, there's Sophie. Hey, Sophie.
Hey, yeah. I talk about you guys all the time.
Hey, Sophie. Oh, that was Hudson. I couldn't see. Hudson, do you like Justin Bieber?
I haven't. My sister doesn't, but I like some of his music, some of it.
Well, you know how your dad has those cutouts of like Britney Spears and John Lennon? I want him to find me.
Mama doesn't like you. She likes.
I want you to find me a Justin Bieber cutout that I could put in my classroom.
Hey, who's this? Who's this Hudson? I'll tell you who Hudson does love.
Alice Trebek. I love him.
That's a big shorty. Big shorty. Yeah. Hudson is Alex Trebek. He does a great job. Hudson Jeffries. We're gonna make a channel, a tribute to Alex Trebek one day. Now that I know how easy it is.
Well, okay. I want to cut out.
That's the end of my Tinder story.
Oh, yeah. Did I not? Oh, yeah. Okay, it is the end of Tinder story. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll catch up on that later, I guess. Look.
Is it?
That was it. Oh yeah, it was a good story.
Yeah. This is my. You don't need no Tinder for this kind of love.
Aww.
But you know what? But Gina, I guess in a sense, like, I wanted to judge myself when I got on it. And even like had to say something, had to share that shame with Sam. And then I was open enough to find something that I'm still like, that has taught me so much and a love that I've, never experienced before. So like, when you close the door on things, you limit yourself. There's no, I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I hadn't been open, I would not have had the benefit and blessing that I'm still enjoying.
I'm going to end it with this. You and I have done so much self-love that I love myself so much that the thought of letting a man come into my house and be in part of it, I don't want that. I don't want to.
Man, I don't know. I would never. If I was a female, I don't know that I could ever date a man. Men pig.
I mean, I don't want to clean up after them. I don't want to cook
gross.
for them.
Yeah.
They are. I just like my life.
That's why I like girls. I like girls. That's what he said. That's what he said.
That's what she said. Look, seriously.
Look at my man.
But listen, I'm telling you, I could not go back to dating. And I know when you and I first became friends, I'm not. And the thing is, I hate that people think, oh, and it's not wing. It's like, yes, like on a Friday night, the weather's good. I'm working in my yard. I'm reading a book, but we'll talk about that later. But what I want is, we need to leave now, but I'm about to check out Russell Brand and Brene Brown. You got me hooked on that. And we need to do one more of these for the next episode, because we didn't talk about Paul and Saul.
Oh yeah. We have plenty to talk about. It's our legacy of love.
Yeah.
But before the Tinder story came, I was talking about desire, and how that was one of the things that I picked up from Buddhism, is that if you minimize your desire, you'll realize that you have all the things that I realized that life has blessed me with all the things I used to desire so strongly and think I wanted. And now I have been just overwhelmed. Once I gave up a desire for them, I'm getting showered by it. So it can be overwhelming. And it is the crazy love and the crazy talk that I look forward to doing again with you. Anytime, just let me know. We can do it like this, and who knows what'll happen. Didn't know that I'd end with the purest vision of true love. Alex Trebek, Charlie Cauble Sr., Charlie Cauble Jr., Pearl Jam got in the mix. If I could, Pearl Jam's in the mix. Mike McCready. Who's Mike McCready? Tell these people who Mike McCready.
He
Got to
played
leave. I got a
football
tutor
and
coming.
Leave. You can
He
leave.
was at,
Bye. We love you.
and Dad.
Yeah, tell him.
So, Mike McCready was a legend of Pearl Jam.
He is a legend.
He played electric guitar.
Yeah, I think he was born with a guitar like attached to his body.
Dad.
Mr. McShreddy. Yeah.
So can I just Dad? I mean,
Yeah. You mean
have you played a techno game?
No, I need to go do that right now. Tell everybody what I'm about to go do. It's the Tecmo 2021, but it's the 1991 game, and we got the Atlanta Falcons season. And guess who's on Atlanta Falcons?
Todd Gurley.
I'm not a Georgia fan. It's important to say that, but I'm a Todd Gurley fan.
Yeah.
I'm a girly man.
So quarterback Matt Ryan, running back Todd Gurley, running back Brian Hill, wide receiver Julio Jones, wide receiver Calvin Ridley,
Ridley. My favorite tight
tight
end,
Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst, and I don't know anything
And
about him, but
kicking-
his picture in Tecmo is beautiful.
And kick and punt returner Edo Smith.
Edo Smith. And yeah, that's good. Look, I got a picture of this guy on my what's his name? Hayden Hurst. I need to throw that guy the ball every time. I gotta close with hope that they ban us in one of the countries for this. Oh, here he is. Look at this guy.
I like his picture also.
I bet him and Alex were back in the day.
I like everybody
Yeah.
on Atlanta's offense.
Yeah.
I like everybody.
Better go play some Tecmo.
I just want to leave the offense